trails of R&B.
And I feel like sometimes
hip-hop. Afro.
If you want me.
Big Frank in the morning, Jay Cherie keeping it going. We got them hot topics, local news, and BGC flowing. We got Big Kev on the air, Dark Knight flying in here. Inspire 716 and we rocking it. Hey.
We are a tad bit delayed, but we are yet here in the room with my girl D Money Mac. What it is, how you living, how you feeling? Yes, and then we have a special guest, which will be a consistent guest, which will be her own individual place as I hire her on air. It's going down. Zaima Beloved, greetings. How are you? Welcome. How you living?
Very well. It's a great morning.
Good. Those who are listening online, let us know how we're doing audibly. Make sure we are doing our due diligence across the world. Listen, we'll be right back. We're going to get into some music quickly, and we're going to rock out and have a good time. You're ready for you guys a song by a friend of mine. She recently just had an autism awareness event here at the studio, 5716 Radio, and she has done an amazing job. So shout out to Nino Brown, a.k.a. Dominique Cook. Her new name is now Lady Nino. So we're going to tap into that song real quick. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about our weekend, how it went down, and where we're going right here on 5716 Big Frank in the morning.
It's real fresh.
Nigga, what you talking? When we was hungry, we all ate. When it was problems, we all linked. The loyalty was insane. Now come to think, even instinct up. It's like a dream that I'm living, but the catch is I'm up. I should have known from Jay and Dame, the rock and the fire. Now I know what I know. We live and we learn. Jealousy and hate, we would never rock forever. So the circle that I had disappeared. It was clever. That looked real, but turned to be fake. True identity state within myself can't relate. And all their accomplishments, cheering them on. Let them shine, block the shade, turning them off. Let the hater talk slick. I was all over the that they said, let's go. Foot was on the game. Take the memories, throw it in the trash. It was all so good. Should've known it wouldn't last. Then the test came. Man, when I say so unexpected, on the same way, won't even stop by. Just to check it, motivated them, but when it's my time, they neglect it. When it's time to shed a light, get hectic. Hottest states get in my backyard. Let my fence down for a minute and they cut me off guard. Now it's time to clean up backyard. We ain't leaving no scraps. They gon' kill themselves cause they gon' starve. Hottest states get in my backyard. Let my fence down for a minute and they caught me off guard. Now it's time to clean up backyard. We ain't leaving no scraps. They gon' kill themselves cause they gon' starve. Now I'm my own mind, I had to portray like Mrs. Innocent. I'm from the block, so if I rock, it's some sort of a benefit. Only difference is I'm upfront and honest, protect when attacked. Come with receipts to back up my facts. Man, it was all in that. Goddamn, they need an Oscar. Sitting at my table eating fettuccine pasta. Trying to figure out what I'ma do with these imposters. Shame when they shine, they act like they forgot ya. But they still watch ya. On the low clock ya. Hidden enemies, mistaken identities. Gotta get them out the frame when they go against the grain. Cause that snake can get that 9 milli to their brain. Backyard. Let my fence down for a minute and they caught me off guard. Now it's time to clean up backyard. We ain't leaving no scraps. They gon' kill theyself cause they gon' starve. How they snakes get in my backyard? Let my fence down for a minute and they caught me off guard. Now it's time to clean up backyard. We ain't leaving no scraps. They gon' kill theyself cause they gon' starve.
Fire 716, your boy Big Frank. You're locked into Big Frank in the morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this may find you. That was Nito Brown. Like I said, she just did a second annual autism awareness event here at the studio. Ladies, how you living? How you living? How you living? What's happening in your world, and how was your weekend?
Well, so I finished up some photos, and you know what? This is really like the first time I had such a big Photoshop job to do, where I really was photoshopping everything for the theme of the photos. I was kind of nervous. I ain't gonna lie. I was really nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not want to get clowned. Because people, they see the photos and be like, oh, this is what I wanted, this is what I got.
No valid.
Yeah. But actually, I think I did pretty good.
Good.
So hopefully you guys will see the photos. If she posts them, you'll know. But yeah, so that was that. And what else wonderful things happened I figured out what I needed to do. So you guys know that there's like contracts that you could do with the government, right? Real quick. So there's contracts for anything, and the government can't supply itself, so they have to use businesses, and plus they have like certain funding for small businesses and minority owned and women owned. So I said, I want one of these contracts, So I finally figured out how I can get closer to being able to bid on different contracts. And I am almost there. And let me tell you, all I need is just that first contract, because they range in like a couple $1,000s to hundreds of $1,000s. I think some. Yes, I'm claiming it.
Valid.
So that's that for me. Yes, claiming it. I'm claiming it. I'm telling y'all, as y'all know, when the money start popping off, you gonna know.
you gonna be able to identify.
Right. You can come in and be like, where did we get this floor from?
No valid. Government contractor. You gotta be ready to know valid. Because I need to be on there. Okay. Figure out. How was your weekend?
My weekend was very good. I am a mom, most important job I could ever possibly have, and most of my weekend composed of me helping my 20-year-old son, and he just started a new job too. He's actually working two jobs.
Oh wow!
And my daughter, who is 13 years old, just helping them get accomplished what they need accomplished. And we had a nice little break. We went to the movies and we saw Super Mario Brothers.
Oh my gosh, was it good?
Was it good?
It was.
I've been hesitant. Okay.
Listen, I mean, it just brings back so many memories. It was so good. We enjoyed ourselves.
That's awesome.
We enjoyed ourselves.
I love going to the movies, so now that makes me like, maybe I
you should check it out. Did you play Nintendo? Did you play
yes,
Super
I
Mario
did.
Brothers?
Yes,
like
that's one
every
of my
element of Mario they have in that movie.
Oh wow, okay.
It is so good. It was so enjoyable. So
I'm gonna have to go watch it independently by myself.
The music.
I love my children, but
I just realized
by myself. Like for when you was at, I was in the movies. No valid.
They can't appreciate it. Like their kids, they weren't playing Super Mario Brothers on Nintendo.
And that's valid. And my wife maybe wasn't either. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
I didn't even think about that.
Like,
but
she like I don't know what this is. Babe. Like, go
The
ahead.
kids are sitting.
It's another animated film. My weekend was good. It was full. It was impactful. I had this preach on Sunday. We had a tag team, so we had 3 in the morning. They had 3 in the afternoon. We got 2 services. Don't judge us. Don't judge us. Just don't judge us.
Saving souls. You got to do it.
Sir.
You got to do it.
And that went well. Then Saturday is a blur. I know Saturday Saturday was not a blur.
Yeah.
Saturday was the second. Like, he talking about the same thing over and over. Yes.
Wasn't Saturday a raffle?
They had a second annual autism fundraiser. So they did a raffle. They had popcorn, cotton candy, and they rented. That was actually our first rented out space for the studio and everything. So that was really good. So it was efficient. My kids' area is efficiently drawing attention for the children.
Yeah.
Because they was flipping. I said, they're gonna break it. They're gonna break it. But it was really a very successful event. I did that. Then I went to Aiden's birthday party, Kevin's son, birthday at Chuck E. Cheese. Went there, and then after that, got me chicken souvlaki salad, and then went on home.
Yum.
Yeah, that's been my thing lately.
Food is exciting.
No, valid. So,
Right.
that's been so. Just to give us a little insight, though, with the young lady that's with us on today, Zaima Beloved. She is a artist, and tell us how you got into music.
Yes, sir.
Give us a little information about that.
Okay. Well, originally I wasn't Zaima Beloved. I was just Zaima, and that was many, many years ago. I lived in New York City. I was doing music through all kind of random producers, and I would just write songs. And over time, I realized, wow, I'm really good at this. People would tell me and confirm and affirm, this is something that you're good at. And I'm like, well, maybe I need to record. So in Harlem, New York is when I first recorded my first album. And it was called Zaima, conscious music. So I only create music, like I like to call it, vegetables and a sweet sauce. I want to give the people something of substance. I want to make a contribution to their lives, and I do feel that I've been gifted by God, and I got to do the right thing with that gift. So that was my first album that I put out, the Zaima album, and since I want to say since 2003, I have released 4 more produced albums.
Okay.
And you can find my music on Bandcamp, www.zaima.bandcamp.com. And I took a break because I also teach children's beginners Arabic.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my goodness, like, you can't do both. You can't do both. You can't do both. I teach children religious studies.
Gotcha.
And it was just like, hey, how you do both? How do you do both?
How do you do that?
You know the struggle, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, you hear that from people. It's like you kind of feel like you have an either or option. It's like you're either gonna do this or you're gonna do this, but you're not gonna do both. But I'm like, no, God gave me both, so
yeah.
I'm gonna do both.
Well, and I think it's really important in knowing this is how people are Frank. How do you do what you do?
Yeah,
it comes with smoke, and I can handle the smoke because it does get smoky on occasion.
There you go.
But you have to know what God has given you,
right?
Because for example, I am prophet, I am elder, I am DJ, I am the establisher of a radio station, I am community. And there's an assignment where I have the grace to be able to be the community where we just got finished line dancing, but I can still speak into your life and change it.
Listen, and I might be open to hearing you more after we line.
No, valid, because what happens is nobody understands this. Not to say nobody understands it. People don't realize that when you take down the barriers sometimes of the religious outline, they're not as defensive that I can deposit what God said without you being like, oh my God, this is so no. We had a good time, we didn't laugh. I never forget I was at Burger King. And we were just ribbing and just joking between me and some people I don't even know. We were just going, but it was good quality.
Right.
Ribbery. And but before we knew it, we transitioned from just us laughing to really getting into some heavy details just about their life, because in that moment, God started revealing some stuff. So we just started talking, and they were open to receive that dialogue. And they was just like, how did I go from just laughing to crying? Because God has a way of doing things. Like I said earlier
Absolutely.
today, and I'll get into it
Yes.
probably later on, that God has the best algorithm ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
I love that. And I have to write that down.
Yeah, so
God has the best algorithm.
So listen, we're getting ready to get into a song by Zaima Beloved. It's called Lower Chakras. When we get back, we're going to get into the question of the day right here on Fire 716 Big Frank in the morning. We got music, y'all. Y'all better be blessed.
Yes.
They probably like it.
Inside your eyes and see secrets. I can look in deep, deep down and see secrets. I can see that way, way down in your lower chakra. Then that you see, I know that you look inside your eyes and see secrets. I can look in deep, deep down and see secrets. I can see that way, way down in your lower chakra. Then that you see, I know that you're moving real different lately. Come here. Look me in the eyes, baby. If you got other plans, just be honest. Stand up and be a man, don't forget your promise. What's good with you? You okay? You say you're cool, then you look away. Something's wrong with you, you look repentant, and it ain't hot. So why you sweating, baby? Inside your eyes and see secrets. I can look in deep, deep down and see secrets. I can see that way, way down in your lower chakra. Then that you see, I know that you look inside your eyes and see secrets. I can look in deep, deep down and see secrets. I can see that way, way down in your lower chakra. Then that you see, I know that the information that I have is metaphysical. I don't need no proof and I don't need no visual. I trust my gut, I hear it loud and clear. You say that's not enough, I say it is, my dear, it is, my dear. I walk barefoot on the soil. The ground whispered to me, told me you ain't loyal. The birds chirping saying you slicker than oil. My intuition is at work, watch it toil. You can't hide. No, you can't lie to me. True love inside your eyes. No, you can't lie to me. No, you can't lie to me. I feel it. I followed you today. I saw you go to her house and I saw you stay about 7 hours. And then I saw you leave. I saw her come to the door, call your name and give you your tie. And then I saw her kiss you goodbye. And then I knocked on her door. She let me in and she told me everything. I saw you gave her the same book you gave me on her coffee table. I saw you gave her the same scarf, too. That was one of my favorites. But I didn't know she was expecting your baby. I felt for her. So I told her, listen, you have nothing to worry about. We're gonna raise that baby. All of us. All three of us. Together. And I told her, hey, welcome to the family.
Fire 716, your boy Big Frank, locked in the Big Frank in the morning. Locked in the room with me is my girl D Money Mac and Zaima Beloved. That song that we just played was called was that Lower Chakras?
That's right.
And I was listening to it and then I was listening to it. Okay, I was grew into it.
But then had me immediately.
Yeah, but then the ending, I just, you went to the house, watched him go in the house. Then you saw him leave the house. Then you saw her leave the house. Then you saw the book that he gave you, he gave her, then the scarf, and then there's a baby, and you taking care of it. Oh, you different. Oh, you built different. You built different. I like it, right? No. Oh, So before we get into the question of the day, because that's a good segue, you just brought so much to the table.
Right.
Number one, let's deal with the inspiration of that song. And how did you get those vocabulary words to come together in that sequence?
You know what? I went to a meditation retreat like years ago, and I'm not Hindu, and I don't think in terms of chakra, like, you know, all of the chakras that people talk about, but I know for sure the lower chakras is where most of the damage is done in our lives, like that lower base energy, you know. So I think I was watching something on TV I did not have that experience, because I can live vicariously, or I can hear somebody else's experience and I could be like, oh my God, I have a song coming on, which I believe God will use to help somebody else through me, even if I haven't experienced it. So the ending of the situation wasn't my ending. So I just kind of like rewrote the ending. Like, if you're going to find out that your husband or your man whom you love has been a flawed human being, and you learn that he has stepped out, that's one thing. But then a whole nother thing is, if there's going to be a child brought into the world. Now, every woman has their choice. You can leave the situation if you want to leave the situation. You can leave the situation if you believe that the man cannot redeem himself. But I believe in redemption. And at the end, when I said, we're going to raise that baby. All of us, all three of us together. It's just a different narrative, I think, that will help our community as Black people a lot more than, I burned your house down, I scratched your car, I burned all your clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Might hit you with that.
That's doing without your car, right?
No, because I think those are not words that you just hear often,
right?
Especially throughout a song, because clearly death should have come to someone. But that, you know, I'm just saying that's just what it is. So just gives information just about all that she does. Before we left to the song, she was discussing her ability to teach beginners Arabic. And Diaja, you had a question that you had.
Yes, I'm curious, like what well, we kind of discussed it a little bit, but for everybody else, what actually got you into learning, and where did you go to learn and then be able to teach? Because I genuinely, like, just through all the different things that I've learned and stuff like that, that's something that I'm interested in.
Wonderful.
I just haven't taken the steps to really, you know, pursue learning Arabic.
And I think you should. You know, there are a lot of spiritual gems inside the Arabic language. But I was raised Muslim, and part of our learning culture is learning the book in its original language, just like Jews do with Hebrew. It's preserved in its original language, so we try to learn it so we can become more knowledgeable, more aware about what God is trying to tell us. So since like 15 years old, Imam Qasim Ahmed out of Houston came to Buffalo State College here and did a 3-day intensive with his Islamic Learning Institute. And I was 15. And I took the course after years of trying to learn the alphabet. I could never get it, but he has a very special method because he's a Black man. And he has a method called the Arabic letter family system, where he breaks it down into families to learn these letters. Instead of learning everything all at once, you know, all 28 letters, you're learning it in batches of 5 and 6 and 4. So, well, there's actually not a family with 4, but you break it down into smaller amounts so that you can digest it.
Right.
And it's really, really, really effective for our minds as Black people to learn, and as non-Indigenous Arabic speakers. So that's where it started. I was 15 years old. And the way that God works is years later, I mean, like 30 years later, I was in the same class as his wife, and he had passed away.
Wow.
And we were in a grammar class, an Arabic grammar class online. And from our reconnecting in this grammar class, she asked if I would be interested in teaching with the Islamic Learning Institute school online. And that's how I became the children's Arabic teacher. So I'm teaching children ages 8 to 12. And this is my first session and starting May 7th, where I'm teaching teenagers ages 13 to 17. But
So is it like an alphabet kind of situation?
yeah, there are 28 letters.
Okay.
Arabic is written from right to left. And let me see if I can like give you an example. I don't know. I'll come prepared on Wednesday. I'll do a demonstration.
No, valid. If y'all, so for those listening, tap in Wednesday for a little quick lesson.
Yes,
valid.
And it's interesting because Big Frank's baby's names are Arabic.
Okay, look at me. Okay, you just that thinking. Amina, yes.
And Samora.
Yeah.
And Amina is faithful. Right.
What's crazy is the story that I don't tell often. Yes. That randomly my wife decided to name. I left the hospital. She gave birth. I had to go run and do something. I came back. They had middle names, and I didn't know they had middle names. So life goes on. We get to the baby shower, and they're like, "Oh, what is their middle name?" They're like, "Frank, what is it?" I don't know. I wasn't here for this, and it's actually Faith and Hope.
Wow. So
that's
crazy.
Yeah. So that's crazy. I was just like. You know, they were like, Frank, what is it? I wasn't there. I looked at my wife. I said, when? Where was they? So
the difference between fathers and mothers. I tell you.
No, valid, but she didn't like give me any information. Like she just
went on the
yeah. And then she watching. Bear, I love you.
He was in his dad world, thinking about finances and paying bills and buying diapers.
Yes. No, valid. So the question of the day is this: is friends with benefits a good idea, or will it end in disaster?
I'm gonna let you take that, girl. By the look on your face, you need to take that, girl.
So, okay. Here is the thing. I feel like friends with benefits, it could be, I mean, the main definition of friends with benefits obviously is having friend that you can have, intimacy with, and and then y'all are still just friends.
Right.
However, I feel like there's still more, like there are friends that you can have, like friends with benefits, but the benefits aren't just the intimacy. Maybe it's like, this person likes to go out with me, like, and we go and do these things, but we don't actually want to take it to the next level of a relationship, or maybe that it doesn't work. So it depends. I would say in my life and the things that I have experienced, I don't think that friends with benefits works because somebody always ends up getting really attached, whether it was me or the other person. You get attached, and then after that is no longer like a friends with benefits. It's like, okay, we got a situationship, like it's, I kind of want to be with you a little bit, or they want to be, and you're like, that's not what we agreed to. Right. But so it's a complicated thing. And not just that, but I feel like it kind of holds you back too from actually having a real relationship, because if you're investing your time
right there
and you're, giving yourself to this person in that manner, or I mean, even in another manner, like I said, like going out, like if it's more intimate, not just a friend thing, but how can you do that and still try to invest your time into making a serious relationship?
Oh, we got a call.
Point today.
Part 716 Radio.
Good morning. This is TD Alameda from St. Louis, Missouri.
Greetings, sir.
Yes, sir. Greetings. Just wanted to weigh in. Great topic, great conversation. So I just want to get in what I can fit in. So.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I just want to say this. A lot of times I think people may, even with the best intentions, feel that you can be a friend with the opposite sex and it be platonic. But, once you're really being real and honest with yourself, at some point, naturally something would develop, especially when you're dealing with a woman or a man of substance and quality. So it's inevitable. So, in my faith, we say, we have the term tie your camel, and not put ourselves in that position, do the things that are necessary to not let things occur, to exercise that foresight, So I think a lot of times we're not really being real and honest with ourselves, there's some beautiful sisters out there that are doing great things and whatnot, and you may be working with them in an environment, but at some point, there's something about that sister, there's something about that brother that you're going to be attracted to. Your energy is going to be attracted to, and your spirit's going to be attracted to. So it's best to try to exercise the discipline and not put yourself in those positions, and always keep yourself on guard, So, and it takes a lot to do that,
Absolutely. 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 Caller, thank you for calling in. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I agree 100%. I think that over time, there's an attachment that's going to happen one way or another. And if this isn't something that you're going to be committed to long term, is going to affect every other relationship.
Right.
So because once you get the missing, I don't have access. What you mean?
Right.
Like, where you at? Like,
Yeah.
Who this John? Like who this person coming in? Yo, he don't, and then you the friend. Don't get me started. You go ahead, because I got a story.
I mean, I want to hear your story, but I would respond with a question. You ask, are there benefits? My question is, do the disadvantages outweigh the benefit? Do the benefits outweigh the disadvantage? And I believe the disadvantage of that kind of relationship is far greater than the benefit.
Yeah.
The disadvantage is far greater for like what Diaja.
Yes.
Like what Diaja said about how it's going to stop you from getting, like, if you really want a relationship, you in a situationship or friends with benefits or whatever, you're putting your time and your energy and devoting yourself mentally to this person is going to stop you from actually getting what you want and what you need. So I think there are way more disadvantages, and I'm going to say, don't do it, guys.
No. So once upon a time long ago, before I
wear pajamas and live and just as good. Okay.
So what happened was I was in communication with a young lady, and all of her friends were beneficiaries at one time. That sounds terrible way I put that, but
they were all beneficiaries.
Your wife is sleeping in.
Right,
oh man.
And the preacher and so I started talking to her at the time, and I was just like, all of them, literally all of them were once upon a time and then in fitting in Nation area. They were just doing stuff. So one day I decided to go to a wedding. I invited the person to go to a wedding with me. They said no, but they had just posted, I want to do something fancy. Let's get fancy and go to this wedding.
Right.
Nevertheless. So I pull up after the wedding, and she says to me, I'm outside with my friend in the car. We was just talking. I said, well, I said, well, based on our last conversations, we know that all friends are potential. I said, that makes sense. So that was the whole situation. In other words, when you have this friends with benefit situation going on, it has an impact on how you interact with somebody. And men can always have I'm waiting for an opportunity. I don't care who you talking to. If you come lay your head on my pillow,
Right.
just relax. And you go at your friend's house just talking, and that was the situation. Now, I did have a conversation with somebody who said, I had a friend with benefits. No, I lied. That was the ex. Because the ex, what she said was with her ex was that the scenarios were so far different 5 or 6 years later that we're not even in that same boat anymore.
Right.
So our relationship will never be what it was at all, but we still can be cordial if that makes sense. But friends with benefits is a dangerous situation. It's just dangerous.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Because you are a happily married man with babies, cutest little twins.
Yes.
And is that a boy? 2 girls and 1 boy?
I have 2 girls, 1 boy. Yes.
1 boy. Okay. So you have a family or a family man now. You have women posted goals, hashtag goals.
Yeah.
You have that. Did you come into being with your wife through a friends with benefits situation?
No.
Boom.
No. We were mind your business, but yeah, we
Pardon me.
Officially together.
We were together.
Yes.
Okay.
Dated together. It was not a friends with benefit string along song.
Exactly. So I'm just proving the point that that's who you married.
Yes.
You didn't marry friends with benefits.
Right. They'd be like, I'll be friends. I get you. It sounds good. But don't play patty cake with the baker's man. Okay. Because you might get burned. Literally. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't.
Oh man.
Okay.
You play with it, Joe. You play with stuff.
I gotta
to
write
figure
that
out.
one down. Like,
Just you want to be careful. And they said I agree with Zaima. Absolutely. And yeah, you just want to make wise decisions. You just don't need
Yeah. You know what else too? I feel like it's one of those things where, like, for example, even if y'all was to turn the friends with benefits into an actual relationship, right? How does that work on the trust end of things? Because now it's like, well, we started off this way, you know what I'm saying? And then if they have other situations, because maybe they're not the only one with the friends with benefits.
Valid.
So it's like, how does that work with other,
right.
other friends that they may have?
Right.
Oh, well, we was just friends with benefits. We don't mean anything now because you're in a relationship. But
Right.
feelings don't work
because
that way.
because with friends with benefits, I'm not tied to you. I am not held up by you. I am not. So I'm
bananas to me.
I am out
The
here.
suffering.
No, because it's just like I don't owe you any explanation. I can do you Monday, go holler at somebody Tuesday, be back Wednesday. I see you on Thursday. We hanging out Friday, but I got somebody else on the weekend.
And I would say the Lord is not pleased with you,
No,
sir.
Valid, valid. But when you talk friends with benefits, I don't really owe you an explanation. Yeah. Just that when you feel like turning up, I bring the heat. Hey.
So women, where's the camera? Because I want to talk directly to the people.
Right here, that's you.
Ladies, do you hear this? Okay, do you hear this? Is the mind of an upright man who's letting you know. Okay, this is not how we are built. We don't need to do this to ourselves.
Talk to him.
Understand, because he gave you the knowledge, he gave you the insight. Basically, Steve Harvey over here. Think like a man. Don't do it.
Frank Harvey.
Franklin Harvey.
Franklin Harvey. This is gonna be an alter ego.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't.
Don't do it.
You don't want that. You don't want that smoke. You don't want that attachment. And then what? No,
you know what? And another thing. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And then also too, it comes to the pack now, and I know that because even besides a friends with benefits situation, people just hook up and all that stuff. But like, what about your safety? Like, y'all friends with benefiting it up out here in the streets, and if they're just I'm gonna come back to you constantly because we friends with benefits, but I'm still out sleeping with whoever. Like, how is that safe for you?
Next thing you know, somebody out here singing, I can look inside your eyes and see secrets. Lower
I can look inside your eyes. That's
next thing you know.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then, or what if you get pregnant?
This is what I'm saying.
So now you got to explain. And then what if it's a secret friends with benefits that people don't even know? Now you're pregnant. And that's just a whole can of worms.
Yeah. Why do it to yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And oftentimes it is driven by emotions and the inability of self-discipline. Because you want to be satisfied. Right. You ain't got nobody. And those elements, and then that just comes with a lot more chaos than you really think. And nobody in the moment is hot, it's heated, it's sizzling.
Yeah.
But then it's like the consequences thereafter. And here you are now. Say you're gonna have friends with benefits now. Now you're getting ready to get. So you've been watched redeeming. You're trying to try new things. You turn over a new leaf, and now you find a man. But now you want to give this man your all, but you can't because you've been broken over pieces because your friends are here. Then you're trying to figure out why your man don't like your friend, and you think we don't know. But the vibe that we get with him when he shows up, we know what has been done here.
I think Drake wrote a song about that.
Because nobody knows, like, to the situation that I just talked about. Plethora of friends and beneficiaries. Is a plethora. Yeah. It's really a crazy, wild situation. I thank God for protection. The situation is, if they can't be in front of me improper, how can I trust them with you by yourself?
Right.
Because that energy gives off. We can tell.
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna just be very who I am. My wife's a baddie, and I know it. Beautiful, built by the really gods. I said, God, for me, are you sure? But if there's anyone who shows up and I'm not comfortable with you in my presence, there's no way I'm going to be comfortable with you and her. Not even that I don't trust her, that everything of that nature. It's the fact that I know that we have physical, we look and we see.
Right.
That's a bad. I'm gonna get out of that. That's a bad looking Cadillac for me. That's my ride. I love it. And I know that if I saw it and saw that it was good, I know that they see it and this is good. And what I won't do is put my wife in a predicament for anybody to try to violate across anything of that nature.
Right.
So it's like if you have friends with benefits, you just out here willy-nilly in, and then it can really affect your relationship long term, and you'll find yourself having to disconnect from this friend you've had for 15, 20 years. Now here you go dealing with a separation. It's a loss.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about that side of it. So it's crazy.
That's
out there.
true.
It's wild.
so true.
I'm so glad you're bringing that up.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. So
And it definitely does not serve women. There are certain experiences we have in popular culture today that are really to the disadvantage of women.
Yeah.
Really to the disadvantage of women. And we're troopers and we're soldiers and we're like, it's okay, I can take the L. But it definitely leads to the breakdown of our mental health.
I will say this, and I'm ready for the smoke for this one.
Say it, Diago.
And I hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from. But I think one of the disadvantages of what's going on today is, oh my.
Come on, girl. Speak on. Speak on, girl.
And it's gonna sound crazy coming from literally me, because I'm a very independent person, independent woman, all that stuff. But there is a point where it's like you can be independent and be a strong woman and all of that, but you still need a mate. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like that's one of the disadvantages. I feel like sometimes women, like we women as a group, we're just going so hard in the paint to be everything. And it's like, we're not made to be everything.
Say it, girl.
And then you don't even allow yourself to feel the emotions of having a partner or being able to communicate with them, because you're just like, well, I'll just take care of it, or I'll do it, or I don't need. And it's like, it don't work that way.
Valid.
So I do feel like it does do us a bit of a disadvantage, because you can be independent, and being independent is wonderful. You can be strong, and a lot of us had to be strong out, not because we chose to be, right. Because we had to be.
Right.
So I think that just understanding that at the end of the day, like, you're still a woman, and you still have, like, you want to be nurturing, you want to be these characteristics, because your man or your mate, that person's going to bring that other energy into it, so that y'all can be one.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely, you need it.
Absolutely. With that being said, this is going to lead us to our song by, I forgot her stage name, Jazzy. This song by Jazzy, and it's called "Help Me." Yeah. So let's listen to that real quick, and we'll be back with more content and information right here on 5716 Big Frank in the morning.
That was a dope session.
Yes.
Second after second pass, minute after minute down, hours after hours traps my mind day after day. I don't know why your mind just wanders when you feel like you can't hold any longer. I feel your heart beat so much stronger every time I walk away. So can you help me, can you clear the air? Can you help me, to me it's so unfair. I'm feeling, if I know it's scary, say you're here to stay, yeah. So can you help me, look inside your heart. Can you help me, and let's be honest, start really. If you're ready, please don't walk away. Say we'll be okay. Say we'll be okay. Say we'll be okay. Do you remember promises were made to me? Do you remember saying you'll give anything? Well, baby, first gotta protect my peace from all of these feelings. No, why your mind just wanders when you feel like you can't hold any longer. I feel your heartbeat so much stronger every time I walk away. So help me, can you clear the air? Can you help me? To me, it's so unfair. I know it's scary. Say you're here to stay. Yeah. Help me, look inside your heart. Help me, and let's be a new start. Think you're ready? Please don't walk away. Say we'll be okay. Say we'll be okay. Say we'll be okay. Say we'll be okay. So can you help me, look inside your heart. Can you help me, is this a brand new start? If you're ready, please don't walk away. Say we'll be okay. Say we'll be okay. Say we'll be okay.
Fire 716. That was helped me by Jazzy right here from Niagara Falls, New York. She's been on tours. She's been in concert. The same thing.
Yes,
But she's
yes.
out here living, and she's been in New York City. She has so many different projects she's been working on. But she's from Niagara Falls, New York. So shout out to Jazzy, and I'll tag you at some point down the line. So we are in the conversation about friends with benefits, and is it a good idea? And the consensus is no. Prime example is Jackie Robinson.
Oh yeah.
Is it who you said?
No, it wasn't. It was Smokey Robinson. I'm like Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson died. They still there. He's gone.
Sometimes you can't be great all the time. Like, yeah, what did he do?
And here I go co-signing. Yeah, Jackie.
Smokey. Now, don't let me ask you to name a Smokey song. We ain't gonna ask you.
We got
Oh,
you.
I got one. What is
Cruising. I got
All
you.
right, so he doesn't know the person.
You doing she talking about crack rock.
Smoking that smoke. Yeah. Yeah, listen.
Gang, bang,
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Gang bacon.
So Smokey Robinson,
Yeah.
the cousin of Jackie. No. Apparently came forward with his affair or situation with was it Diana Ross?
Yeah.
40 years later. And I just feel like number one, live holy. Number one, have a standard. Number two, maintain yourself. Number three is 40
years later.
Like now we gotta go back. Is the kid even we gotta go back to this. Like now
Yeah.
Why would you even bring this up now? Like it's not like they drifted away into unconsciousness. This is like they're still present. They're still like literally they're still for what?
Yeah. I'm honestly I'm not surprised. I'm more of like also like a why 40 years later is this something that you want to talk about?
He's like 70 and maybe 80. How is he?
Yeah, I think he's 70s, late 70s or early 80s. Yeah. And that's what it's just kind of one of those like head scratchers, like, huh?
What?
Right.
Super random.
I'm guessing maybe I don't know, because isn't he married?
Album he's trying to drop.
Maybe that you know what, you got a point. That's true. He
What
could
is
be
going on, Smokey. I just feel bad for Diana Ross because it's like, can you not put my business in the street?
She's the topic of
But she done came up a couple times this week.
What else about Diana?
No, apparently Diana
Dirty Diana
has been playing with Michael as a little boy because he was living with her for a minute. That she was grooming him in the negative term of the word grooming. Because
because he was 9 and he was living with her, and
You gotta be kidding.
calling him her she was calling him her boyfriend, and he was 9.
Oh God.
And so I was like, Question mark.
Not good.
Yeah, that it's weird. It's like
Not good.
why? First off, why was he living with her in the first place?
Mm-mm.
Like the only thing they have is music.
Mm-mm.
Other than that, they ain't
Not
family.
at 9 years old.
Right?
I'm
Exactly.
just like, why is Mama Jackson letting him do that?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Catherine.
What's going
Poor
on?
Catherine.
Yeah. So Diana, she didn't came up a couple times, but even as far as with
I'm
her
disappointed in her
affair,
because she should have known to stop in the name of
before you break my heart to get over. Yeah, you know what though? I feel like have you ever seen Dreamgirls?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they said the Dreamgirls movie is based on her and the Supremes and stuff like that. And I feel like if it is based on her, she kind of always had a little shady to her. If that makes sense.
A little bit of shade.
Yeah, she was a little shady
I can
to
see it.
her.
I can see it. She looks a little shady. Just in natural, I can see you.
Yeah.
Real
I've heard things.
Cruella DeVille color.
I've heard things.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, and then even as far as her friends with benefits situation with Smokey Robinson, it's kind of like I don't necessarily feel bad for her. And the only reason why I say that is because you openly went into this situation with him as well. Things could have been brought to light years ago. He's just doing it now for whatever reason. And it's kind of just like, you can't just be out doing stuff. Like eventually it comes out.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
Oh, man's got a responsibility. And I'm gonna let you deal with the man's responsibility.
The man has it takes two to tango. Okay. It is a collaborate. It takes one to sneak, another to link. This is just it is a dual party responsibility.
Right.
But the man as a seed sower and the discipline is you have to have it. The ratio to men to women is just scarce as Black men. But as a man, it is. Let me just bring a reality to some things. Just because you're married doesn't mean that temptation isn't present.
Right.
There also doesn't. There's no excuses. Don't you dare get shot twice. Okay.
Not get shot twice.
And this is the important. And this is the importance of marriage and being the example, really showing, because nobody talks about the time frames and the experiences of marriage that you go through as the man. Let me give you a prime example. I used to watch Maury. I was pregnant and you cheated on me. I've heard that. And I'm like, no, that's crazy. You should be there for her. You should be in her corner. Until you, as a man, have the desire of intimacy, but because of her new chemical balance, what she has going on, not in the mood, not available, not there.
Right.
Because she's carrying. But if nobody's taught you how to discipline yourself and be able to refrain from and just hold out a while, you're liable to come into something that's gonna touch you, make you feel good, and you can fall into it. But discipline and the teaching and the training part of life is important. Nobody talks about that. Yeah, we talk about the time of the month. We know it's a little spicy, but you get you the proper candy, the proper stuff. You can work through some emotions. Yeah. But there's periods of nobody taught me how to keep myself. Nobody taught me as a man how to. Oh no, you want to wait until. Oh, we're not. Oh, wait until. No, we like. Oh, you got to go get it. Oh, you got to go get it. And then we are, as culturally so, we just experiment. So what we do is we equate a feeling with a response. Oh, I feel this, so this must be the action. Not saying, oh, I feel this. Let me just calm down a little bit. Let me go chill out somewhere and start being all literally willy-nilly. Okay. But these are things that's taught, and there's people are getting married still not having these disciplines. Because some people, have done it proper and they waited. Kudos to those that did. Okay. But some people were out here shacking, knocking boots, and got married and still had access. And now you come into this phrase where, no, I can't give it to you because I'm not in the mood. And I'm not feeling it because I'm not carrying your child. What I'm supposed to do with this back up, build up in these feelings because nobody taught me how to.
Right.
Hello. No valid.
He took the Smokey Robinson situation to the next level.
Yeah, but it makes sense though. Yeah.
Because, and you think I create these habits. Now for Smokey directly, I have these habits now that nobody taught me. So I have these habits. This is not my lifestyle.
Right.
Then I'm putting drugs, cocaine, weed, herb on this. This is just what we do. Then I have the music situation. And ain't nothing like a singer to get a girl to, I ain't gonna hold you. Oh, woo, woo, woo. Like you want to drop, like it just, I don't know.
Oh God.
Because music don't
Mama, I
help.
hope you're not watching, Mama.
Because music doesn't help.
But Frank, this
Yeah.
this is what I'm trying to understand. Okay, because like, okay, they made the mistake.
Yeah.
We're talking. Yes, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't happen. We
Yes.
know it shouldn't happen.
Yes.
It shouldn't happen on both their sides. 40 years later, why is this becoming a topic for public consumption?
Yeah, you should leave a name out. Like you can sometimes tell a story, and for the sake because they're still present. Okay, there's consequences
Name
here.
dropping somebody who is very well
Valid,
known.
right? That's different to me naming somebody who like a common name around. You gave first and last.
Right.
You know, I feel like this is something that happens though. I feel like a lot of the male celebrities, I feel like it's more male celebrities than it is female celebrities, where they just have this urge to just talk, just talk about the sexual partners they had. And like, you know, and it's just so strange because well, this was more of the court case situation, but Tory Lanez, Tory Lanez, when he was going through the situation with Meg Thee Stallion, he went and like, you know, told all her business and like, you know, that she slept with all these people. And it's like, you know, like, okay, what does that have to do with the court case? But then later on you find out what it had to do with the court case. But it's still just one of those things like they do that. They always do that. They just come out of nowhere like, yeah, I slept with so and
that's what I mean by the responsibility a man has, because like men are, in the world I come from, supposed to be the protectors.
Yeah.
So
you unfortunately, okay. When we are with you or have responsibility to you as a pure friend and or as family or as a loved one, we will protect you. Upon your dismissal, you ran away. You got grown. You think you're better than me. You've dogged me. You've dismantled my manhood in the presence of me. You belittled me. My protection has faded to another. I wish you the best from another brother. Okay?
That's not right.
That's not
that was a whole
poem
right there.
You can still stay honorable, Smokey.
Yeah, Smokey necessarily didn't. But you know, Smokey home now. If it came back in memory, it was just by luck.
He didn't care what happened with him in the public when he dropped his song, the gangbang song. I think after that, he just was like, yeah, I'm just out here.
You know, it's me and Diana Ross had a thing.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been, you know. And then we probably said that I don't like anyway, probably Vlad TV, who exploits black people all day long. I just can't stand it. Yes, I do. I do not like that. But yeah, he should have just said, "Oh yeah, it was a famous person once upon a time long ago," you know, and just left it as an open dialogue. You just said the Supremes as a unit, and they could have just figured it out. What are the Supremes? Which one?
You figure it out.
Valid.
Mark my words. Smokey is coming out with an album.
Oh, valid. Matter of fact, April 28th. Like it might have been already.
Boom. You see that?
No way. Okay. Well, and I feel like that's the other thing is that a lot of times the celebrities they do these different things to get the attention on them because they know that the blog articles are going to write about them. Fan page is going to go crazy.
Yes.
And then whatever they're doing now is going to have more traction.
Okay,
so,
I'm gonna say this. Smokey Robinson has this slated to release an upcoming album, Gasms, on April.
Oh, yes.
Gasms on April 28th.
Now it makes perfect sense.
That's GASMS, which I said that. Okay,
now it makes perfect sense.
He also.
So he was thinking.
He was saying.
Oh, that's
he was
rough.
having flag.
That's rough. Because is he married? Because can you
Probably
imagine?
Not. I don't think he is.
Okay, because I'm like, can you imagine?
Like, if you see if Smokey is married.
Imagine if he's married, like, and then he starts talking about Diana Ross, and then he releases an album called Gasms. It's like, bro, I would be mortified if I was his wife. Like, you just don't respect me at all.
Apparently, he is married. He first love was Claudette from 1959 to 1980s. That don't make sense. He came right to Francis
Gladney.
He's-
2002 till now. That's what he's saying.
So he's married.
Maybe they had that conversation. Maybe he was like, "Listen, I need to sell these albums, baby."
I mean, that's the only thing. Because why else? Like, can you imagine, like, you know, you making a whole album about gasms, whatever they may be.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You just were talking about gangbanging.
Yeah.
That aside, bro.
He's just out. He's just throwing stuff at the walls.
Yeah, it is gonna stick. So yeah. So
Not
crazy.
at 75. How old is he?
I'm about to find out.
Not at 75. You doing an album about gasms? An album called Gasms at 75 is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, because
I mean, hey,
I have
a cousin who is 21, but his dad is 97.
No
So-
way. I couldn't imagine. And I
he
have a
went
friend.
out without conscience. Now,
Yeah.
but-
I have a friend who, like one of my really close friends, her parents are very, like, they're older. So, like, she's 20. How old is she? She's 27, but her mom is like in her 60s. Her dad's in his 70s. You know, so they're a bit older.
Smokey 83.
He 83.
He only got 7 in the possible. If God say the same, he got to get out of his.
He was literally.
It makes sense now. At this point, what the worst you can do to me? Okay. At this point, I'm.
Wow.
You ever go to the nursing home and you get that person that you can? I can just say what I want now.
That's my grandfather.
I think that's what it is.
That's what. Yeah. At this point, what you gonna do now?
Yeah.
You gonna sue me? I got 7 years left. I'm gone.
Yeah, that's literally older people.
Just-
just real quick. Okay, so I live with my grandmother and my great grandfather. And my great grandfather is 88. I think he just turned 88 or 87.
Yeah.
One of the two. And the other day, he had went outside on the porch and, like, you know, was talking to the neighbors and stuff like that. Comes back inside and he's saying to my grandma's telling me the story. And he's like, dang, what's going on with so-and-so? Because he looked like shit. And I said, oh my God, like, you cannot just say those kind of things. Like,
no filter.
And yeah, like they just don't. Because
after a while,
like, it's like a why. Like, it doesn't matter anymore.
I'm not there yet. But because after a while, it's like I don't have time for to overthink.
Yeah.
What's gonna be nice? Whatever. My time is out.
I get it.
So he was just like, "Oh, yeah, Diana Ross. You know, Keisha Cole. Just name it. Tanya from down the way.
Yeah, he was
Tina Turner. Just out here. Yeah. Just what are you doing, Smokey? What is
Smokey that took down the whole industry from the 60s and the 70s.
Was there a response from Diana? Was there an actual response?
Yeah, I wonder.
No, Diana. Don't.
She stopped defending herself after Dirty Diana.
Yeah, you listen.
I bet if you had the king of pop, you know, calling you out, I think that would be enough for me to be like, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, what do her kids think about this? Like, you know, I imagine Tracy, you know, like, okay, Smokey.
Tracy Ellis, she gonna defend her mama.
Right.
Yeah. Then how old is Tracy?
Tracy's in her 50s.
Tracy does kind of
I think she's.
Yeah, you smoking now. Here y'all go. That's how it starts. Smoke be getting smoked.
I'm about to look this up after the show. Hold up.
Right down.
Yeah.
Begets
smoke. Listen, what is happening here?
Yeah,
Listen,
I love it.
y'all, it's going down this morning. We'll get back with some more content, more conversation. We're going to get to another song by my girl Jazzy. This is a song that she released that I like as well. It's called Turn It Down. Right here on Fire 716. Big Frank in the morning.
You're too comfortable, and you keep giving me reasons why you refuse to grow. To the man I know you could be, I'll wait so long for you to show a sign for me to stick around. We're way too shotgun. And I can't afford to waste no more time. If you start to miss me, remember I didn't walk away. You let me go. I'm not ready to move on. I can't waste no more time waiting for you. We keep singing the same song, so breathing in my mind. I'm losing it. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. I can't take it no more. Bar after bar. Just turn it down. Just turn it down, just turn down the music. I gotta let you go. The bass you hear is beating through my chest. Suddenly I seem to lose my breath. Don't tell me that it's a mic check. I'm not really in the mood for no more tests. But the melody you sing is so beautiful, and the lyrics you say is what I needed and more. But your tempo's pretty slow, you're coming up mighty short. I'm breaking down these speakers, I don't wanna hear no more. One day you're gonna wake up and notice that you should have tried. I was worth the fight. I'm not ready to move on. I can't waste no more time. Wasting no more time with you. We keep singing the same song. So breathing in my mind. I'm losing it. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. Just can't take it no more. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. I gotta let you go. To move on. I can't waste no more time. Wasting no time with you. We keep singing the same song over and over again. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. No more. Bar after bar. Turn it down. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. I gotta let you go. I'm not ready to move on with my life. Oh, we keep singing the same song over and over again. Oh, just turn it down. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. Just turn it down. Whoa, just turn it down. Just turn it down. Just turn down the music. I gotta let you go.
Fire 716. You locked in at Big Frank in the morning. Good morning, good afternoon. We are in a conversation about a TV.
Exactly.
That was a problem.
We're not on a TV show that isn't advertising, but you can figure it out. People are blind and they fall in love. It's love is blind. But it's a show in regards where you fall in love with a person's intellect, their mind, their personality versus their appearance.
Yes.
And Diageo was just telling a story of how it was so beautiful because some things work out. And I recall this extreme situation. This guy was just extra, where he's just not attracted. He was just not tapped in.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I think that there's some episodes where some of the people they connect in the pods and they're super in love and they're so excited, ready to start the journey, and then they meet the person. And they're like, and you could just tell.
Yeah.
You could tell when the doors open and they see each other for the first time. Yeah.
I can't.
Can you? Yeah, because it's like, dang, I will be emotional damage.
I need more therapy than I did before I got here.
Yeah, because like you imagine you go out and like the person's just like, ooh.
But that situation with him was a problem because they knew about his past and like that's not right. To bring somebody with that kind of experience without letting the person know. Like if they haven't already stipulated, I don't mind if somebody has colorful past. So to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah.
If they haven't already said that, then I shouldn't just have the surprise of, oh yeah, and I'm bisexual.
Right.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
well, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, some
And
people
she
don't
was
like that. Yeah.
homophobic. It wasn't fair.
Yeah, she and you know what's crazy too? Like I was watching, and this goes back to what I was saying too. Besides just that, so there's that part of it where
Yeah.
he's bisexual and all that stuff. But then there are also like some of the other guys I seen on the show who were just nice and they were softer. Like they,
Yeah.
you know, like not in like a they were weak, but they were just more in touch with their emotions. They were
Yeah.
more like, I want to provide, I want to give, I'm nice and kind. And these women, some of them just like, the one girl was just like, I need you.
girl,
Yes, she was like, I need you to like
man up.
like, dang, like, can you imagine you a professional love this person? They like,
Dang.
Right.
Like,
you didn't
what?
touch me the right way and all kinds of.
I think that's why men don't watch the show. We will not bruise our egos and destroy us as we, like, you know, as we, you know, as men, we watch and we will most likely identify, oh, I relate to this man.
Yeah.
And for you to respond in such a way, we take those hits personal. Like, whoa.
And that's how I felt. I'm like, dang, because it was that even in the Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
This one girl, she's with this guy. He's literally perfect for her.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. All these things, but she's just like, he's just not manly enough. And it's just like, what you want him to do?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So
wild.
Frank, how does a man recover from that? Like, what is that like for a man? Like, fill us in on the male ego right quick.
So for you to come for me in my manhood or my delivery or trying to present my best self to you, you are liable to turn me into a savage. Because I can only take so much rejection, and therefore I won't accept rejection. Therefore, you won't have access into my heart, which now supposed to keep you at a distance. So now I deal with you at a distance and distance only. So as you're trying to break down walls to get to know me, no, it's limited now because you because the women that I've come across, you've one came for me. Number one. Number two, I may be turned off now from that culture of women, where I now visit elsewhere because I've been you now become a trigger for me. There's so many situations. And three is that I am triggered. So therefore I will never put myself in a predicament again to make me feel like that. So we just not. So are you trying to change a man and sometimes trying to fight through barriers and walls? I've already been damaged. And says you better show me something different or you're gonna fight long term. But the only way to trust is to trust, and that's just sometimes not as easy.
And does that process take time? Because old boy who's with Colombian girl, it took like he was really fighting for her, even despite I think maybe he was used to that with his mother, or maybe he saw his father emasculated.
Yeah,
because he was fighting for her despite her saying things like, "You don't do it for me," and I want you to be stronger.
Yeah,
ouch.
Yeah.
Which is. I was blown away because he literally got up extra early, went to the store, got ingredients to cook for this girl. Okay. And he made pancakes from scratch.
Hopeless
romantic. He made strawberry compote.
Come on, we're not a compote.
Like, I mean, he
come
went
on, compote.
the
Y'all
whole
compote.
9 yards.
Yeah.
Made her plate and everything. And she was just like, oh, I'm so lucky. But then at the same time, like calling him just like
it reminds me of a story.
That is so crazy. We had a comment too.
That was about Smokey Robinson's new album called Gasms. So many moons, few decades ago, not decades, not that old, but enough time ago. Young lady was in a relationship. He was abusive. He wasn't really good to her, but she was going through, and I was being there, a good man, trying to be a support. I got you. I take care of you. I'm whatever. Right. You know, hopeless romantic, right? Yeah. You know, out here, you know, love letters, you know, talking good. So she writes me a letter. I'm like, oh yeah, I got her now. She writes a letter and she begins to tell me how amazing of a man I am, how good it would be to be with me. But I can't. You too good for me, and I don't think I deserve all.
That's what she said, and that's what she meant.
And that's what she meant. But I was like, Bird, what? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Self-esteem.
Yeah.
She didn't value
She-
herself.
yeah.
It wasn't about you.
No, valid, but I was still like,
You were just like, wow.
yo, come on. I mean, I wanted you. I'm out here. I'm doing my due diligence. You know what I mean? I'm taking notes. Writing down information. I got it.
Yeah.
Just to.
Some people,
Yeah,
I
valid.
think that sometimes some people get so, they have so much trauma from their past
No, valid.
relationships
That's real.
that they can't be in a normal relationship.
Yeah.
And some people, and not saying that they necessarily have to be in a relationship that's not healthy for them, but I think that because of their trauma,
Yeah.
the person that's healthy is going to now experience that same trauma, and there's no point in even putting yourself in that position.
No, for sure.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too, even as far as what you were saying, my brother had this girl he was friends with, and like her boyfriend was treating her like crap and was physically abusing her and stuff like that. So my brother was really trying to help her, like, get out the situation and all that stuff. Ended up like fighting this guy, like fighting him, got beat the dude up. All he had was like a little black mark on his face and all this other stuff. And him and the girl was like kind of talking and stuff like that, and then she went back to him.
Right.
And I said, don't put yourself in that kind of situation.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, like you could have like really gotten hurt. You know what I mean? Like you could have got hurt, you could have got killed, and then even after all that, she still be with the guy. So it's like pointless.
Yeah,
Because the man just I told him I'm a hopeless romantic, naturally so. For me, this is my story. My mother taught me how to treat a woman, showed me what she did not necessarily get. She told me this is really kind of what you do. These things to pick up on. So I'm great at those things. But it's like we are hopeless romantic because that same person you've been strung along, whatever, help me move back around. Again, here's your head on my pillow. Yet again, trying to be a support to you. Or we're talking 5 hours in the morning. If you ever watch this video, you know exactly who you are. Okay, she's still conscious. Okay,
it stings.
And what ends up happening is that I waste all this energy. I don't say this. I've learned, but at the time it's just like, here I go spending this energy doing the things that you say you want and that you desire and these elements. And here's Peter, Popoff, John, Jacob, I'm watching those names, knocking you upside your head repeatedly or doing you dirty. But here you are, forgive me if you're watching, bending over backwards for these person. And then I get the end result. I get the sad, sorrowful part of you while they're getting the, I won't. At the time. But valid. And that's just a reality that when you do that to a man, it can turn him to a place like you're not about to keep using me. So if that's the case, let me go ahead and use y'all. I'm not here for long commitment. I'm not really here to stop nothing crazy. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, you get ruined.
Yeah, and then you get a habit of getting into bad things because you know they're going to end.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
hurt people.
Yeah, and like commitment is hard because commitment is this is forever. Like my mind can't really fathom that. But if I know you toxic, this is gonna end one day. So when it does end, it may hurt, but I'm not as surprised.
Right. Like
I'm anticipating. This gonna whenever at some point.
I totally understand that. I think it sometimes too. It's like sometimes we just want you want somebody. Like who wants to be alone? Who wants to be alone all the time? You want that other person there. You want to make it work. And I feel like especially if you've invested so much. And even as far as people who've gone through domestic violence and different things like that, I've heard stories. I haven't so much experience like domestic violence as far as getting like hit and different things like that. More so, I have like a verbal situation in other gaslighting and emotion, kind of situation. But I feel like it's just one of those things where you at a certain point, you're like, okay, well, I've already put up with this stuff for however long it's
Yeah,
been.
yeah.
I might as well just stick it out because one day it'll change.
Mm.
One day these things will change. Like this person will get better. It'll get
Mhm.
better. Like things will change.
Yeah.
And the reality is, it's never going to change. And matter of fact, the longer you stay, probably the worse it's going to get.
Valid.
But you know,
They, they won't even realize that until they actually go through. Like you have to go
Yeah.
through it to get to that realization. Unfortunately, unless people go to counseling, and usually
Yeah.
what propels people to go to counseling and therapy and all those things is so much suffering and so much failure. It's like, I'm not doing something right. So it takes a lot of like trial and error and realizing like, oh, I keep getting beat, or I keep having my feelings hurt, or I keep having somebody who emotionally abuses me
Yeah.
over and over and over until finally they're like, I need help.
right.
So I don't think that people can just, especially when it's trauma from like your childhood or your past. I think it takes a lot of trial and error and
Yeah.
having the experience over and over and over again until you wake up. That's
Mhm.
consciousness, right?
No, valid.
Waking up.
Yeah. I agree.
No.
I feel like, and definitely stuff that you experience in your childhood, that stuff to me, this is the biggest thing that I would say to people all the time. Your childhood trauma really does not start to show its ugly face until you are older. Like that's when it really, like, you have behavior changes and things that happen when you're younger. Like, depending on whenever the childhood trauma is, but it really does not start to show until you get older, and then
Yeah.
you start to see like, oh my gosh, I'm making these decisions
Yep.
from a place that I don't even understand that I'm making it from.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you think that, oh, I thought this was normal, and the whole time like something like that is not normal.
Yes.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's valid. And some things you don't realize are trauma sometimes until you have an encounter. Wait a minute.
Right.
And then it's like, and I don't know how I got here real quick, but sometimes the environment isn't aware that there's been trauma until you meet somebody else and they show you, oh, there's really a different way.
Yeah.
I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have to deal with those challenges growing up. So then you realize, wait a minute, that was more abusive than it was
Yes.
that for me. Oh, matter of fact, this is triggering for me. Like one of my relatives, I almost called her out. One of my relatives,
Smokey.
right? One of my relatives, a few years ago, like Franny said, I'm trying to save him, but I'm failing. I'm trying to not be smoky. I'm trying to not be smoky, but it's really challenging. But one of my relatives realized that they need to have a conversation with their father because they realized throughout relationships that was the common dilemma. That I was trying to get them to fill a void that only a father could fill.
Right.
They have some questions and some concerns.
Can you say if it was a man or a woman?
Oh yeah, it was a woman. It was a
woman.
woman.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a woman. She was trying to get. I need to go talk to my father because, like, these men I'm dealing with,
Yeah, they're
is really becoming the same situation
Over
of
and
what I'm
over.
looking for. Yeah. So, but for a long time, she was. I thought I was good. She thought I was good on my dad. We was moving, we shaking, we moving, we growing. But then I finally realized, wait a minute, there's still a piece missing. And that is something that you find out over time. Sometimes.
I definitely just in my own personal experience, just because you brought that up about the absent father figure and those feelings, for me in my life, I have come to like I actually have seen it from both points of views. So living up until I was 17, because the guy that we thought was my father passed away when I was 7. So I experienced the death of a parent and experienced that. And then not having a father for that 10 years, then finding out that I have a different father, and then him being so active and so a part of my life, and different things like that. So I tell people all the time, like, there's a humongous difference of not having a father versus having a father.
Yeah.
There's so many things that a father can teach you. That I love my mom to pieces, and she really tried her best. But there's no way that she could teach me some of the things my dad teaches me.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's and I'm sure it will be the same vice versa. You gotta have that other parent there. Like it balances out the things that you need to know and how to move and position yourself in life. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was a daddy's girl growing up. I was extremely close to my father, and I see the difference in friends or family members who didn't have a close relationship with their father. And we both kind of, because I was kind of leaning imbalanced on my father because my relationship with my mom wasn't as close because she had 6 kids and she worked sometimes 2 jobs and she was busy and I was a good kid. So if she wasn't saying, Zaima, eat, go upstairs, do your homework, then it wasn't very much conversation. But my dad, who was really into psychology and a thinker, you know, on a really deep level, I would go to him and have these deep conversations. And so I leaned on him to the point of probably imbalance, where I think he became like a fantasy bond for me, where if you have one parent who's you're not as close to, the other parent takes on this really big role in your life and your imagination, you puff them up so much. So I did that with my father, and I saw that it did create a deficit in me, because even though like I knew I was beautiful, I was not susceptible to a man just doing anything he wanted with me, and I was easily able to be like, nope, not interested. Like I had good self-esteem from having him, but at the same time I always felt like I needed a man in my life. And a friend of mine had the exact same symptom and she didn't have a father.
Wow.
So me leaning too much in an imbalanced way on my father created a very similar outcome as the person who did not have a father. The only difference was I had an expectation and I wasn't trying to fill a hole of him not being there. I was trying to fill his shoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really deep.
So I had to be by myself for a really, really long time. Still am.
It's the still am for me.
After divorce, in order to balance myself. And now standing on my own 2 feet and things.
Hey.
You know, I'm trying.
But no, I understand that. I totally get it.
You can clap for me.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, America.
I'm gonna talk to
Right.
We do have callers because they have called in.
Oh
shot
yeah,
their shot,
they
so be careful.
they will shoot. They will shoot their
Who is
shot
that?
immediately.
Listen, we're ready to get into a song called "Now I'll Never Give Up" by Zaima Love. We'll be back. When we get back, we get into our final thought and inspirational moment for the day right here on 5716 Big Frank in the morning.
Looking beyond past the horizon, never did I think I'd see my life so bright and full of hope. Did not know I had a light growing inside, and so I stumbled through the night. But with every bump and bruise, strength in my skin made me listen to the voice within, and soon the clouds did part, opening up my heart. Told you from the start I would never give up, no. Never ever give up. Never ever give up. Never ever give up. Don't you ever give up. Never ever give up. Never ever give up. Never ever give up. Please listen to your heart. I was plagued by fear. I couldn't see my life clear. Clouds of doubt lingered about me. I had to bow my head to see. Every time we choose, we change within. So we gotta begin to feel hope again. And soon the clouds will part. Put a silver line in your heart. You gotta make your mark. How could you ever give up? Never ever give up. Never ever give up. Never ever give up. Give up. No. Never ever give up. Never ever give up. Never ever give up. Please listen to your heart. All that you are, all that you see is a mirror. Open your heart and your mind, and you will see clearer the truth of who you are, the truth of who you can be. improving. Keep your eyes focused on the prize. Know that you're tired, but you can go much higher. Keep your eyes focused on the prize. Keep down and so you'll find go.
Fire 716, you locked into Big Frank in the morning. That was a song by Zaima Beloved, and it's rocking. Okay, it's a vibe, it's a groove, it's a shock. Kara. I know, no, it's definitely a vibe, and my aunt, who is actually over the seas, is really feeling the music, so she wants to know how she can get your music. And you said Bandcamp, so let us know how we can get it.
Ma'am, she can actually, those two songs that he played today, Lower Chakras and Never Give Up, are on all and every digital music platform. So
Okay.
Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Jay-Z's
Tidal.
Forgive me. Tidal.
Tidal.
Everything you can find. Never Give Up and Lower Chakras on everything.
Sweet.
But if you'd like to get my old albums, you can go to www.zaima.bandcamp.com. BANDCAMP.com.
And Auntie, I'll try to put it in the chat before we end our live in the next 5 minutes.
Auntie, he gonna send you a link, Auntie. Don't worry.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes,
That makes
I
sense.
definitely, because I want to send, it to my best friend, because me and her send music to each other. She mostly sends music to me.
Okay.
Here's my chance.
Yes, so now I got a chance to jump on it and send her something.
It's Monday. It's a great day. The sun is shining. It is outside, light clouds, but we're grateful. The snow isn't here. But what will be your word of inspiration today for the people before we get off air? Your final thought.
You want to go first?
Sure. My word of inspiration. I think my word of inspiration for today would have to be, if God has given you the vision, then he will give you the provision. And I say that to myself first and foremost, because I'm working on my music and an album after many, many years of taking a break. And I had some doubts and I had some concerns and wondering where my providence would come from.
Yeah.
But every time I take a step forward, it's like something opens up. So don't doubt what you have inside of you, what you've been given inside of you, what God has given inside of you. If he's given you that vision and you see something bigger for your life, he will lay the steps before you as you have faith and continue to walk.
Yes, love that. I totally agree. My final thought for today would be watch Love is Blind. Watch Love is Blind.
On that one.
Yes, watch Love is Blind. But no, when you are choosing a partner or you're even just dating, take time to get to know them. Take time to just build that friendship and that foundation, especially if it's somebody that you're like, you know what, I'm kind of feeling this person. They, whatever it is that made you initially interested, and continue to just grow and build that. But build up a foundation and a friendship first before like just committing to certain things or hopping in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Oh,
are you supposed to give like thoughts based off of what we talked about?
No, just
any thoughts.
So
Yeah.
I gave. I'm like,
No. Sometimes they was doing AI.
No, Valid. They're just making stuff up.
Yes.
My final thought, I've been saying it. I said it yesterday when I was preaching. I said it today. God has the best algorithm.
I love that.
He knows who needs to see what, when, where, how to transition, how to move, how to make provision. Your instructions are to obey the instructions and to move. There's so much blessing in obedience. The ideas, the unctions that you have, just move on them so God can reveal to you the next step while you step.
Powerful.
Certain things don't show up until you move.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for things to happen, and it's not going to happen.
Things don't show up until you move.
Absolutely. For some reason, I just see this image of water, and like there's rocks under the water, but you don't know the next rock is there until you take the step.
Right.
It doesn't show up. Now I'm preaching because I felt, you know,
Preach.
because sometimes you have to alleviate the pressure of where you've been
Mhm.
Yeah.
to get where you're going. Because you got to lift up a leg to make a step.
Mm.
And that relieves the pressure. So let's, okay, we're moving on to the next step.
Mm.
You always, if you stay where you are, you'll never see that. It won't be revealed.
I like
And
that.
the step has always been there.
Hmm.
But it's just not going to be revealed. Listen, I'll holler at y'all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this found you in the universe today. It's Big Frank in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. It's Big Frank. We'll holler at y'all. We'll be back on Wednesday. More content, more conversation. And my homegirl, Zayn Beloved, will be back with us as well. It's going down 5716, Big Frank in the morning. I holla. We'll holla. Peace.